Hey folks, it's Pastor Mike here in the study. A couple weeks ago at our staff meeting, I brought this thought to our staff. And in Psalm 127, 1 through 2, he said, except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. And except the Lord keep the city, a watchman waketh in vain. And the idea is that we're all trying to acquire something, build a house, and we're all trying to keep something. And that's the protection or the watching on the wall. And if we're doing this on our own strength, we're doing it in vain. And when we come to anything, whether it be our church and a building program or it be in raising our children, and I believe the direct context of this chapter is with raising our children and building another generation, is that ultimately we can't acquire anything unless the Lord gives it. And we can't keep anything unless the Lord is the one protecting and preparing it. And I think along that line, and he goes on, he said, look, it is vain to rise up early and to stay up late and eat the bread of anxiety and to eat this worrisome bread of like, man, how am I going to make this happen? How am I going to get this done? And I think too often we feel like we are the ones that have to do it. But unless the Lord is the one keeping and the Lord is the one building, everything we're doing it is in vain. You know, it is empty to burn the candle at both ends, thinking that somehow or another we will be able to build what we want to build and keep what we want, what we have. We used to have a phrase when I was a kid growing up, you know, everybody wants to get all they can and can all they get. And we want to keep it. We want to hold on to it. And the fact is we have to hold loosely the things of this world and say, ultimately, Lord, what we are is your servants. And when we look forward in the book of Mark, he talks about, and I got the verse written down here. It's in Mark chapter number 4, 26 and 27. He said, what is the kingdom of heaven like? And I'm going to paraphrase here, but the idea is he says that the kingdom of heaven is like a man who goes into a field and he sows seed and then he goes to bed. And he does that cycle. He works the field, he goes to bed, he works the field, he goes to bed, he works the field. And then one day he looks out and he goes, oh my goodness, something's growing. How did that happen? And again, the Lord is the one that built. The Lord is the one that keeps. And so I just would challenge us as we walk through the stewarding of our children's lives, the stewarding of our finances, the stewarding of our church and our ministry, is that we never get the idea that we are the ones building and we are the ones responsible for keeping. And here's the thing. If you built it, you got to keep it. And that's a weight that we're not made to bear. We're made to be dependent upon the Lord in our weakness, in our frailty. And what does he say at this end of this chapter in Psalm 127, or the middle line? He said, lo, he says, he giveth his beloved sleep. What a gift. God gives sleep. And I believe in some context that laying down and going to sleep is an act of worship, saying, God, you're in control. And so I hope this is an encouragement to you, and we'll see you next time in the study.